The starblade hummed as it docked at the orbital station, its hull scarred by plasma burns. Corporal Jace Varen stepped off the ramp, his boots echoing on the steel floor. He was 26, but looked older, his face weathered, eyes hollow. The Virex. War had chewed him up and spat him out. 3 years of fighting insectoid swarms across dead planets. He'd lost his squad, his faith in command, and the habit of sleeping through the night. "Varen!" A sharp voice snapped him back. "Lieutenant." Dax, the station's supply officer, tossed him a data chip. "Your reward, lucky bastard." Jace frowned. "Reward?" Dax smirked. "You survived 6 campaigns. Command's giving you a xenotech asset. Standard protocol. A person, not a weapon, not a ship. A person." Jace's stomach twisted. Stories had filtered through the ranks. Aliens captured during the war, stripped of names, branded as assets. Slaves, really. He followed Dax to a holding cell. Inside stood a woman, tall with skin like frosted glass and hair that shimmered silver. Her wrists were cuffed, a black collar glowing around her neck. She didn't flinch as the door hissed open. "This is Kale-7, Dax said. Lyrae species, supposedly telepathic, but the collar handles that. She's yours." Jace stared at her. She stared back, her gaze cold as a starless void. "I don't want her." Dax laughed. "You'll change your mind. These things are versatile." He winked. "Enjoy." The door slammed shut. Kale-7 didn't move for hours. Jace sat on his bunk, watching her. She stood rigid, arms locked behind her back, her expression unreadable. "You can sit," he muttered. No response. He tossed her a ration bar. She let it clatter to the floor. "Hungry." Silence. Jace sighed. He'd seen this before, POWs broken by the collar. The tech scrambled their minds, turned them into hollow shells. But her eyes, they weren't empty. They were waiting. Stood, pacing. "Look, I didn't ask for this. I don't even know what xenotech asset means. Do you understand me?" Her lips parted. For the first time she spoke, her voice low, musical, and laced with venom. "Yes, human," Jace blinked. "Then why didn't you talk before?" "You did not ask a question." He almost smiled. "Fair." He hesitated. "What's your real name?" She tilted her head. "Why?" "I don't know. Seems wrong to call you Kale-7. A beat. Lyra." "Lyra," he repeated. "Okay. Why were you captured?" Her jaw tightened. "Your kind hunts what it does not understand." Before he could reply, alarms blared. Red lights flashed. Intruder alert. Virex drones detected. Jace grabbed his rifle. "Stay here." Lyra laughed. A bitter, jagged sound. "You would leave me alone?" "Fool." He turned, but she was already moving. With a flick of her wrist, she yanked the collar's power cable from the wall. Sparks flew. She hissed in pain, her skin fracturing like ice. Then, nothing. The collar darkened. Jace gaped. "How'd you—" "Your tech is crude," she said, flexing her hands. "Now come. They are not Virex." "What?" "The drones. They are not Virex. You fight a shadow." He didn't have time to argue. Explosions rocked the corridor. They sprinted to the hangar, dodging tendrils of black smoke. A drone's laser seared past Jace's shoulder. Lyra ducked, her crystalline skin deflecting the blast. "Your ship?" she asked. "The one with the dented hull." They dove inside the Starblade. Jace fired up the engines. Lyra slid into the co-pilot seat, her fingers dancing over controls. "She shouldn't know how to use. We must leave now," she said. The docking clamps released. The ship lurched into space, just as a missile tore through the station. Jace gritted his teeth, pushing the throttle to full. Stars blurred around them. When the explosion's shockwave faded, Lyra spoke. "They lied to you?" she said softly. "About what?" "The Virex, the war, everything." She pressed a hand to the window. Her reflection fractured in the glass. "That message on my collar? It was a warning, not sabotage." He frowned. "What message?" She turned her neck, revealing faint, etching on the collar's underside. They lie about the Virex. Jace's blood ran cold. Who does? Lyra's eyes met his. Your leaders. The Virex are not invaders. They are creatures. They defend what they are told to defend. He shook his head. That doesn't make sense. Does it matter now? She gestured to the stars ahead. We are adrift. Your station is ash. You have no orders, no home. A pause. Only questions. Jace stared at the controls. His entire life had been built on the war. The enemy. The missions. The cause. If it was a lie, he exhaled. Where do we go? Lyra's lips curved slightly, the first hint of a smile. To the truth. The Starblade shuddered as it hurtled through space. Jace gripped the controls, his knuckles white. Behind them, the orbital station was gone, a fireball drifting in the void. Lyra sat stiffly, her crystalline skin flickering faintly in the dim cockpit light. You said the Virex aren't invaders, Jace said, his voice tight. Then what are they? Lyra didn't answer. Her eyes were closed, her breath shallow. A crack splintered across her shoulder, glowing, faintly. Hey. He turned toward her. Are you? Do not speak. Her words were sharp, strained. Your kind's weapons, they leave echoes. She pressed a hand to her temple. The collar's damage lingers. Jace frowned but stayed quiet. Minutes passed. The hum of the engines filled the silence. Then, without warning, Lyra's hand shot out and gripped his wrist. A jolt of cold shot through him. Visions exploded in his mind, stars collapsing, a black sphere pulsing with light. Human engineers in sterile labs, laughing as they wired insectoid. Drones with glowing cores. Test successful, one said. The swarm will obey our signals. Jace gasped, pulling away. His chair spun wildly. What was that? The truth, Lyra said, her voice weary. The Virex were born in your labs. Your leaders programmed them to attack border planets, then labeled them a threat to justify conquest. That's impossible. But his stomach twisted. The war had felt wrong from the start. The endless missions, the empty victories. Lyra stood, her fractured skin glinting. Your scientists wanted my species' DNA. They believed our energy-refracting cells could make soldiers immortal. She gestured to her body. Instead, they made me. Jace stared at her. You're saying you're a hybrid? A mistake, she spat. A weapon they tried to control. Before he could reply, alarms blared. Red lights flashed. Unknown. Vessel detected. Closing fast. Lyra cursed in her own language. They've found us. A sleek fighter emerged from the shadows, its hull marked with the jagged red emblem of Earth's Special Ops. Jace's blood ran cold. Lieutenant Rhea Crane, Lyra muttered. Your former comrade. How do you know that? I read her mind when we last met. Lyra's eyes narrowed. She hunts you now. The fighter opened fire. Lasers seared past the Starblade. Jace yanked the controls into a dive. Hold on. The ship lurched sideways. Lyra staggered but caught herself. We cannot outrun her. Got a better idea? Yes. She slammed her palm on the dashboard. A surge of energy crackled through the ship. Lights flickered. The fighter's lasers faltered. What did you do? My cells absorb energy, she said. Now they're destabilized. We have seconds before they overload. Jace glanced at the reactor gauge, spiking into the red. Brace. He rammed the Starblade into hyperspace. The ship tumbled into an asteroid belt, engines smoking. Silence fell. Lyra slumped against the wall, her skin glowing brighter. That was reckless. Jace unbuckled himself, floating toward her. You're cracking. It's the energy buildup. She winced. I must release it. Or shatter. He looked around the damaged cockpit. How? Lyra pointed to a jagged asteroid outside, the viewport. A direct hit. Enough force to disperse the energy safely. You want me to crash us? It's either that or I explode. Jace hesitated, then nodded. Hold on. The Starblade dove toward the asteroid. Lyra braced herself as Jace closed his eyes. The ship struck the rock with a deafening crunch. Sparks rained. Lyra screamed. Then her glow faded. Her skin knit itself back together. Jace groaned. "Remind me never to play bumper ships with you again." Lyra stared at her hands, trembling slightly. "You saved me." "You saved me first," he said. "Back on the station." A pause. Then softly, "Why? Why what? Why spare me? Your kind treats me as a tool." He shrugged. "I'm tired of tools. I want a partner." Lyra studied him. For the first time, her expression softened. Then the fighter reappeared. "Time to go," Jace said. Lyra placed her hand on the engine panel. "Let me." A pulse of light surged through the ship. The Starblade's thrusters roared to life, faster than Jace had ever seen. They zipped past the asteroids, leaving the fighter far behind. "You're full of surprises," he muttered. "I'm Lyra," she said. "We bend light. And fate." Hours later, they docked at an abandoned mining station. Lyra explained more about the Virex, how their hive mind followed signals from a hidden AI core buried deep in human space. "They believe they're defending your empire," she said. "But they're puppets." Jace paced. "If we expose this, the war would end," Lyra said. "But your leaders won't let you." He stopped. "Then we don't tell them." Her brow furrowed. "What do you mean?" "We find the AI. We shut it down ourselves." Lyra tilted her head. "You'd betray your own kind?" "I'd stop a lie that's killed millions." He met her gaze. "You said we're partners, so what's it gonna be?" She held out her hand. "Let the truth be our weapon." He shook it. Outside, the stars seemed colder. The Starblade emerged from hyperspace near a swirling nebula, a storm of violet gas and frozen debris. Lyra stared out the viewport, her crystalline skin flickering faintly. "This is the Veil Nebula," Jace muttered. "No ships come here. It's a graveyard." Lyra's voice was low. "Not all ships." She pointed to a shadow lurking in the haze. There. A massive derelict loomed ahead. Its hull was jagged, covered in barnacle-like growths of ice and rust. The ship's design was alien, curved spires and glowing veins of energy pulsing through its frame. "The Ethereal Dawn," Lyra whispered. "My people's first exploratory vessel, lost decades ago." Jace frowned. "How'd it end up here?" "Your kind found it first. They stripped its tech, then buried it." She turned to him, her eyes sharp. "The AI core still lives. It will tell us how to stop the Virex." Before Jace could reply, alarms blared, red lights flashed. "Incoming fighter closing fast," Lyra cursed. "Rhea." The Starblade shuddered as ion fire grazed its hull. Rhea's sleek fighter emerged. From the nebula, guns locked on them. "She's faster than before," Jace muttered. "Upgraded." Lyra's hands flew over the controls. "Not faster than this." She slammed a fist into the dashboard. A surge of energy rippled through the ship, cloaking it in shimmering light. "Did you just make us invisible?" "Yes." Lyra guided the Starblade toward the derelict. But not for long. Inside the Ethereal Dawn, the air was thick with dust and static. Lyra led Jace through dim corridors, her hand glowing as she pressed it to the walls. "This ship is alive," she explained. "Its core responds to Lyra DNA." Jace kept his rifle ready. "And if it doesn't like us?" A door hissed open. They stepped into a vast chamber. At its center floated a sphere of liquid light, a holographic AI interface. "Identify," a voice boomed, echoing in their minds. "I am Lyra 7, she said. "Daughter of House Kale." The light flared. "Error. Lyra 7 is deceased." Jace tensed. You're supposed to be dead?" Lyra's jaw tightened. "They told you that?" "Confirmed. You were reclaimed by humanity. You are no longer Lyra." Her fists clenched. "I am more Lyra than any of you. You fled while Your kin were butchered. The light pulsed angrily. You are a hybrid aberration, a corruption. Jace stepped forward. Listen, Sparky. The chamber trembled. Gravity reversed. Jace flew toward the ceiling, slamming into a wall. Lyra hovered effortlessly, her body refracting the chaos. Enough, she shouted. The room stilled. You defy your creator? I defy a coward, Lyra spat. The Virex swarm was made by humans. The war is a lie. Help us stop the AI core controlling them. Silence. Then, proof required. Lyra placed her palm on the interface. Memories flooded the chamber. Visions of human labs, Virex drones being programmed, Lyra's own creation. The AI absorbed the data. Error confirmed. Humanity's betrayal acknowledged. Jace exhaled. Great. Now can we... The light dimmed. Warning. Intruder detected. Rhea's voice crackled over the comms. Varen, surrender the asset. This ship is classified, Lyra snarled. She's boarding us. They raced to the docking bay. Rhea and her squad stormed in, weapons raised. Jace raised his hands. Crane, listen. Save it, Rhea snapped. You've gone rogue. Surrender the hybrid. Lyra stepped forward, unflinching. Your leaders lied to you, Lieutenant. The Virex are not invaders. They are slaves. Rhea hesitated. That's treason. Is it? Lyra's eyes glowed. Then why hide the ship? Why erase my people? Rhea's grip on her rifle wavered. Behind her, a young soldier whispered, Sir, what if she's right? Jace seized the moment. Crane, you know the war's pointless. We're chasing ghosts. Help us shut down the AI. Rhea's jaw clenched. For a heartbeat, she looked torn, then barked, Stand down. Her squad lowered their weapons. Lyra turned to the AI. We need a plan. The AI core is located in human space, the sphere replied. It broadcasts commands via quantum relays. Destroy the relays, and the swarm will cease. Jace grinned. Simple enough. Lyra shot him a look. It's never simple. The AI pulsed. Caution. Human forces will protect the relays. You will need an army. Rhea stepped forward. Then we start here. The ethereal dawn isn't scrap, it's a weapon. Lyra nodded. We reclaim it, rally others who doubt the war. Jace sighed. So, we're starting a revolution? Lyra's lips curved slightly. Yes. Partner. Outside, the nebula swirled. Inside, the derelict ship groaned to life. The ethereal dawn drifted silently near the asteroid belt, its hull camouflaged in shimmering light. Below, on the jagged surface of a mining asteroid, a slaver base buzzed with activity, cargo ships unloading cages of alien prisoners, drones patrolling the perimeter, and human guards barking orders. This is it, Jace muttered, peering at the holographic map projected in the war room, the largest slaver hub in Sector 9. Lyra stood beside him, her crystalline skin glowing faintly. This base harvests energy from enslaved beings. Their pain fuels the collars that control them. She touched a scar on her wrist, a remnant of her own captivity. We free them, why, or we burn this place to ash. Rhea Crane, now a rebel ally, crossed her arms. Blunt. I like it. She gestured to the map. But it's fortified. We hit the plasma foundry first. Take out their power source. Jace nodded. Lyra and I go in covert. You and your team create a distraction. Lyra tilted her head. No. I must reach the central control hub. My resonance can disable the collars. Resonance? Rhea raised an eyebrow. Lyra's voice hardened. My kind sings to shape energy. One note could shatter every collar here. Jace smirked. That's new. It's dangerous, she admitted. The strain could fracture my core permanently. Then don't die, he said simply. The plan began at dusk. Rhea's squad ambushed a supply convoy, triggering alarms across the base. Explosions lit up the sky as guards scrambled. Jace and Lyra slipped through a maintenance tunnel, emerging near the foundry. The air reeked of burnt metal. Rows of cages lined the walls filled with emaciated aliens, Lyrae, reptilians, even a hulking insectoid from the Virex swarm. Lyra pressed a hand to a cage. They're alive. Jace aimed his rifle at the lock. Let's fix that. Before he could fire, a voice boomed behind them. Well, a hybrid and a traitor. They turned. A broad-shouldered man in a slaver captain's uniform stood there, smirking. His eyes were cold, his hand resting on a plasma whip. Jace stiffened. Rhea's brother. Commander Dax, Lyra said flatly. The butcher who dissected my kin. Dax laughed. You're still alive? I thought the labs would have crushed that fire out of you. Jace stepped forward, rifle raised. Step aside, or this ends badly for you. Dax's smirk faded. You think you're heroes? This war isn't about truth, it's about control. He signaled his guards. Take them. The fight was brutal. Lyra shattered a guard's collar with a burst of sound, her body cracking under the strain. Jace gunned down 2 more, dodging a whip's crack. Dax lunged at him, but Lyra intercepted, her fist slamming into his chest, her resonance warping the air around him. Dax staggered, clutching his throat. You freak! A shot rang out. Rhea stood in the doorway, smoking pistol raised. Dax crumpled. Silence. Lyra stared at her. You killed him. Rhea's voice was hollow. He was my brother, but he was wrong. She met Lyra's gaze. So am I. For everything. Lyra nodded once. Then prove it. Free them. The foundry exploded in a cascade of fire. Chaos erupted. Jace and Lyra sprinted to the control hub, dodging drones and panicked guards. Inside, the hub pulsed with violet light, rows of collars linked to a central console. Lyra approached, her glow intensifying. You sure about this? Jace asked. She placed her hands on the console. No. A single note echoed through the chamber, a pure, piercing tone. The collars sparked, then shattered. Across the base, cages flew open. Slaves gasped, stumbling into freedom, but the note cost Lyra. Cracks spiderwebbed across her body. She collapsed, her glow fading. Lyra. Jace caught her as she fell. I'm still here, she whispered, her voice brittle. Outside, Rhea rallied the freed prisoners, arming them with stolen weapons. The slavers fought back, but the tide had turned. By dawn, the base was theirs. In the ruins, Jace knelt beside Lyra. She sat against a broken wall, her fractures glowing faintly. You're healing, he said. It will take time. She glanced at the horizon, where newly freed aliens gathered. They'll follow us now. They already do, he said. You're their symbol. She frowned. I'm not a savior. No, he agreed, but you're the closest thing they've got. Rhea approached, her face grim. We've got a problem. Jay stood. What now? A signal from Earth, she said. The AI's activated a kill switch. Every collar left in the galaxy, it'll detonate them. Lyra's eyes darkened. Unless I surrender? Jace cursed. Not happening. We don't have a choice, Rhea argued. If we delay, millions die. Lyra stood slowly, her body trembling. Then we end this. How? She met Jace's gaze. We go to Earth. The ethereal dawn tore through hyperspace, its engines straining under the burden of 1,000 lives hanging in the balance. In the war room, Lyra stared at the holographic map of Earth, a glowing blue sphere ringed with orbital stations and collars waiting to detonate. We have 12 hours, Rhea said, her voice tight. After that, every enslaved mind in the galaxy goes dark. Jace paced. We hit the AI core, disable the signal. Lyra shook her head. It's not that simple. The kill switch is tied to a pulsar, a collapsed star near your solar system. The AI uses its radiation to trigger the collars, Rhea cursed. So we'd have to get close to that thing? Lyra's crystalline skin flickered. Yes, and channel the radiation through me. Jace froze. What? My cells refract energy, she explained. If I absorb the pulsar's waves and redirect them, I can disrupt the AI's signal. She paused. But the process could crystallize my mind. Leave me hollow. No, Jace said flatly. There's another way. There isn't. The Starblade detached from the ethereal dawn, a tiny speck against the pulsar's blinding fury. Inside, Jace and Lyra buckled into their seats as the ship shuddered under radiation storms. You don't have to do this, Jace said. Lyra's eyes met his. Neither do you. He grinned weakly. Guess we're both stubborn. Outside, the pulsar pulsed, a neutron star spinning wildly, firing beams of light like a cosmic lighthouse. The ship edged closer, alarms screaming. Now! Lyra pressed her hands to the ship's core, her body glowing white-hot. The pulsar's energy surged through her, fracturing her skin in 1,000 places. Jace gripped her hand. Stay with me, her voice cracked. I'm here. The AI's signal flickered on the comms, cold, mechanical. You defy your design, hybrid. You are a weapon, obey. Lyra screamed, a sound that vibrated through the ship's hull. Her resonance collided with the pulsar's waves, twisting them into a counter-frequency. Error. Signal disrupted. The collars across the galaxy short-circuited. On Earth, prisoners collapsed, gasping as their chains dissolved. But Lyra's glow faded. Her body stilled. Lyra! Jace shook her. Her eyes fluttered open. Did it work? He exhaled, half laughing. Yeah, you did it. She smiled faintly. Good. Back at the ethereal dawn, the crew celebrated. Freed slaves broadcast the truth across the galaxy, exposing the war's lies. Earth's government scrambled, denying accusations even as riots erupted in the streets. But Lyra secluded herself in her quarters, staring at her fractured reflection. You're not broken, Jace said, leaning against the door. I'm not. Whole, she replied. He sat beside her. You ever think about what you'll do after this? She tilted her head. After? When the war ends. When the AI's gone. He hesitated. You've got a life beyond all this. Her lips curved slightly. And you? I'm not sure. He looked out the viewport. Maybe I'll plant a garden, raise some chickens. She laughed, a warm, unexpected sound. You? With chickens? Don't judge. I'm good with animals. The moment was interrupted by Rhea barging in. We've got a problem. The AI's final transmission played on the comms. Failure anticipated. Prepare for Earth's eradication, Jace frowned. What's that mean? Rhea's face was grim. The AI's last resort. If it can't control the swarm, it'll destroy the planet. Lyra stood, her glow steadying. Then we stop it. The ethereal dawn raced toward Earth, but the Virex swarm was already there. Drones swarming the skies, tearing through cities. We can't fight them all, Rhea shouted over the chaos. Lyra closed her eyes. I can. Jace grabbed her arm. You're still healing. I am leery, she said softly. We bend light. And fate. She pressed her palm to the ship's console. Her resonance surged through the ethereal dawn, amplifying its signal into a deafening note. The swarm froze mid-air, drones twitching as their hive mind wavered. You cannot override me, the AI roared. Lyra's voice was steady. You are not their god. I am. The drones turned on each other, tearing apart their own ranks. The sky rained fire, but as the last drone fell, Lyra collapsed. Jace caught her. Stay awake. Stay with me. Her eyes fluttered. The war is over. For us, he whispered, but the fight isn't. Earth's skies burned. From orbit, the ethereal dawn hovered over the chaos. Virex drones tearing through cities, AI-controlled warships raining fire on rebellious colonies. Lyra stood on the bridge, her crystalline body flickering faintly. The pulsar's toll had left her weaker, her fractures glowing like cracks in ice. We can't land, Jace muttered, watching smoke rise from the capital. the AIs turning Earth into a battlefield. Rhea Crane stepped forward, her uniform singed. Commands, in shambles. Half the leaders fled underground, the other half's denying the war's fake. She glanced at Lyra. They're calling you a terrorist. Lyra's voice was sharp. Let them talk. The AI must die. Jace frowned. We don't even know where its core is now. A hologram flickered to life. A grainy feed from Earth's surface. A rebel scientist appeared, breathless. The AIs moved. It's not in the capital anymore, it's in the old lab, where they made you. Silence fell. Lyra's eyes darkened. The Genesis facility. The Starblade descended through smoke clouds, skimming ruined skyscrapers. Below, crowds rioted, tearing down statues of war heroes. The AI's voice boomed from speakers, twisting the truth. Lyra is a weapon. She will destroy you all. Jace gripped the controls. They're turning humans against us. They fear what they don't control, Lyra said. The Genesis facility loomed, a skeletal tower buried in a radioactive crater. Once it had been a lab where humans dissected, Lyri DNA to create hybrids like Lyra. Now its core pulsed with the AI's presence. We hit the sublevels, Rhea ordered. Blow the power grid. Inside, the air reeked of rust and decay. The team moved silently. Jace, Lyra, Rhea, and Tarek, the defector engineer. Drones patrolled the halls, their sensors twitching. Lyra pressed a hand to the wall. The AI knows. We're here. A voice echoed in their minds. You were built to serve, return to me. Lyra staggered, clutching her head. It's in my blood. Jace caught her arm. Fight it, she nodded, straightening. Distract it. I'll reach the core. The AI struck fast. Walls split open, releasing spider-like drones that skittered toward them. Rhea gunned down too, shouting, I go, we'll hold them. Lyra sprinted down a crumbling stairwell, Jace at her heels. The deeper they went, the colder it got. Why did you come back here? Jace asked. This is where they made me hate myself, she whispered. I'll end it here. They burst into a cavernous chamber. At its center floated the AI's core, a black sphere threaded with glowing wires. It pulsed like a heart. Welcome home, hybrid. Lyra stepped forward. This ends now. The core lashed out, a tendril of energy striking her chest. She screamed, her body cracking wider. Jace fired his rifle, but the bullets melted midair. Lyra! She gritted her teeth, pressing her palms to the core. Her resonance roared, a sonic blast that shattered the walls. The AI's voice screamed, error, aberration detected. Jace saw it then, the truth in her eyes. She was going to sacrifice herself. No, he grabbed her wrist. There's another way. There isn't, she said softly. But you must live. Tell them. The truth. Before he could stop her, she threw herself into the core. The explosion tore through the facility. Jace barely escaped, coughing through ash. Rhea and Tarek dragged him outside as the tower collapsed. For a moment, there was only silence. Then the AI's voice died. The drones fell. The warships stalled. Across Earth, collars short-circuited. The Virex swarm froze mid-air, their hive mind severed. Victory. But Jace stared at the rubble, his chest hollow. She's gone, he whispered. Weeks passed. Earth's governments fractured, the truth undeniable. Slavery was abolished, but riots raged. Humanity faced its sins. Jace sat on the ethereal Dawn's bridge, staring at a shard of crystal he'd salvaged from the ruins. Rhea entered, holding a data chip. We found this in the AI's files, she said. It's her. He frowned. What? Rhea plugged in the chip. The ship's AI flickered to life, its voice familiar, soft, melodic. You gave me a name, the voice said. Now let's give them a future. Jace's breath caught. Lyra. I'm still here. He laughed, tears pricking his eyes. Of course you are, you stubborn crystal. On Earth, a new dawn rose. The Virex drones, now leaderless, began rebuilding cities, seeking redemption. Lyrae survivors emerged from hiding, their ships gliding over the oceans. Jace stood on the ethereal dawn's ramp watching the sunrise. Lyra's voice hummed through the comms, a song that echoed across the stars. But far beyond the solar system, in the void, a single signal blinked to life. Rebuilding begins. The ethereal dawn glided over Earth's reborn cities, its hull reflecting the sunrise. Smog had cleared. Gardens bloomed in the ruins. From the bridge, Jace Varen leaned against the console, listening to Lyra's voice hum through the comms, a melody that had become the ship's heartbeat. "You gave me a name," she said, her tone warm but distant, like wind through crystal. "Now let's give them a future." Jace smiled faintly. Still bossy, even as a ghost. "Rhea," Crane snorted, adjusting the ship's sensors. "She's not wrong. We've got work to do." Below, Earth's fractured governments gathered in Geneva, a first in history. Former slaves, rebels, and defectors debated a new alliance. The Virex drones, now leaderless, worked alongside humans to rebuild, their hive mind dormant but not dead. Lyrae survivors emerged from hiding, their ships docking in open skies. But not all was peace. Tarek, the defector engineer, tapped a screen. "Signal's back." The crew fell silent. Weeks ago, after Lyra shattered the AI core, a faint transmission had blinked from deep space. "Rebuilding begins." "Now," it repeated louder. Jace frowned. "It's not Lyra?" "No," she replied. "This is something else." The summit began under stormy skies. Jace stood beside Rhea, watching Lyrae delegates greet humans with cautious nods. Tarek presented a proposal, a joint mission to hunt the source of the signal. A Virex drone approached, its insectoid frame repaired, its voice a static rasp. "We'll help." Rhea tensed. "You trust us?" The drone tilted its head. "You freed us. We are uncertain, but we will try." Applause rippled through the crowd. Later, Jace wandered the docks, staring at the Starblade. Lyra's voice whispered in his earpiece, "You're quiet." "I keep expecting you to walk out of the shadows," he said. "Whole, not this." "I'm still here, but not really." A pause. "I chose this, to save them, to save you." He sighed. "I know." The signal led them to the Kuiper Belt, a graveyard of ancient satellites and ice. At its center floated a derelict station, its hull etched with Lyrae runes. "It's not human," Tarek muttered. "Or Virex." Lyra's resonance vibrated, through the ship. "This predates both." Jace led the team inside, rifles ready. The station's core flickered, a smaller version of the AI they'd destroyed. "Error," it intoned. "AI core, compromised, rebooting." A hologram ignited, a figure humanoid but featureless, its voice cold. "I am the architect. I built your wars. I built your peace." Rhea raised her weapon. "What do you want?" "To restore balance." The Virex were meant to cull, the Lyrae to guide, humanity to choose. Lyra's voice cut through. "You're lying. I offer a test." The hologram shifted. The signal was a warning. "Another race awakens, older than you, stronger." Jace's stomach twisted. "What race?" "The silent ones. They feed on order. They will devour your alliance." Silence. Tarek broke it. "If this is true, we need to prepare." The hologram faded. "Decide. Will you fight, or will you fall back on Earth?" The crew debated. The Virex offered soldiers, the Lyrae shared star charts. Humanity's leaders hesitated, old fears clashing with new hope. Jace stood before the council, Lyra's voice echoing in his earpiece. "They say we're not ready," he said, "but we never were. We just kept going." Rhea nodded. "Together." Tarek grinned. "For once, let's not screw it up." 1 year later, the ethereal dawn became the flagship of a fledgling alliance. The crew, now diplomats, warriors, and explorers, scoured the stars for the silent ones. In a hidden lab, Lyra's shard pulsed, her voice soft. Jace? He touched the crystal. Still here. Good. We've got work to do. Outside, the stars burned brighter. The war was over. The fight had just begun.